What is up, guys? Serrano Pancake here for a redstone video in the newest snapshot, 16W39B, and we were introduced in 1.11 and 39A to the observer block. Great stuff. So those of you who don't know, the observer block will observe the spot in front of it for any kind of block updates, and if there is a block update, it submits a one strength redstone signal out the back, which can be repeated or which can power something directly behind it, just like this. Blam. Okay. Cool thing about observers is that they send a 0-tick pulse, which means because pistons are 1 tick, observers are 0 ticks. So we have 0 ticks powering a 1 tick. So what happens is when this block is updated and it powers this piston, look at that. Okay? And that's normal for a regular piston. But what happens when we put a sticky piston down here? Watch this. Okay, it's going to grab it and pull it down. Now, with a regular sticky piston on a regular, just a lever or something, when the sticky piston goes up, it's going to go up and then pull both its extender and the block it's attached to down. That's the purpose of a sticky piston. But with these, because this is a 0-tick pulse, when it's updated, it leaves it up there. Okay, it's called a monostable circuit, or you can create monostable circuits using that. So 0-tick pulses from observers. Now the next cool thing is, and I don't know if this was a feature added in 16W39B or if it was in A. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter because it's in B, and I hope they keep it here because it's a really cool feature. So before for us to update this around a corner, okay, what we would need to do is there would be an observer block, piston, and then this observer block we need to go out here, and then it could power this piston whenever this one was updated. Okay, it would detect the update in this space when the head or the extended arm of this piston extended out into its observing area. It would update that piston over there like this. See how that one fired? Okay. The cool thing about observers is you actually don't need all that. Okay? Let me explain. What happens is when an observer is powered, or when it observes a block change in front of it, it powers whatever's behind it. It even powers air blocks. Let me demonstrate. So for us to make a turn, this is actually all the setup we need. Because this one, when it observes, it powers the air block behind it, which this observer then detects that powered air block, okay, and it's going to power this piston. Let me show you. Look at that. Pretty neat stuff, huh? So there's no block behind this observer block, yet this observer block is detecting the output of this one. Okay, so implications, uses. What can we use it for? That. Okay, one of the fastest Minecraft elevators using the translocator feature. Can't call it a bug because if we call it a bug, they'll fix it. The translocator feature of pistons that was introduced in, I believe, 1.10. I don't think it was a late release of 1.9. I think it was 1.10. But anyway, so basically when a piston arm extends and you're under it or beside it or whatever, it will actually grab you and pull you up through the piston. So using the 0-tick pulse of observer blocks and the translocator feature of a piston, we can now have one of the fastest Minecraft elevators ever. Watch this. And we're 3 stories up in under a second. I mean, it's got to be under a second. Let me time it real quick. Ready? Oh yeah, way under a second. So anyway, I'm going to build this, and it's super simple. I mean, you can probably figure it out for yourself, but I'm going to build it real quick and kind of walk through it explain what each level's doing, and then we'll build it. So here we go. So the first thing you want to do is start with a lever. Now the reason I'll explain it more later, but the reason I do this is, and not a I have a reason that I put a lever here and not a pressure plate or some other form of detection, because I don't want it detecting me right when I get there. I want to be able to pull something. And anyway, so lever in front, observer block observing the lever. Now on the observer block, of course, the big square part is the part it is observing. The small little hole in the back is where the redstone comes out of. Now, temporary block on top, observer block facing down behind that. Okay, now, so when this observer block detects the change in this lever, it fires out a redstone signal into the air block behind it. This one then detects that redstone signal, fires its own redstone signal, which this one detects. Okay, so we got a zero tick redstone detection going on here. And then this one is going to power this piston. Super simple. This can be a temporary block, or you can leave it. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect it in any way. Let's try it out. Bam. Look at that. Super simple. Okay, so for the next level, we're going to do one thing different on the next level. Okay, all of the observer blocks and the piston is going to be the same. Okay, so observer block facing forward, observer block facing down behind that, observer block facing backwards above that, piston facing down off of this observer block. Now the one difference we're going to put in this one is, instead of a lever going in front of this one, we're putting a piece of string. Okay, because string will actually cause an update to the observer blocks. And what's going to happen is when we translocate through this piston, we're going to activate this string. It's going to update everything and go to the piston. Ready? There it is. Look at that. Okay, so one more time. Next level. Observer block facing forward. Temporary block on top. Observer block facing down. Observer block facing backwards. Piston facing down. String on top of the one below it. Okay, and then you can make this as high as you want to, guys. There's no build I mean, of course, sky's the limit kind of thing in Minecraft, you know, 256. But other than that, you can make it as high as you need to. Okay, so put your little floor up here, you know, put your little elevator shaft or whatnot to come out of, and then stand at the bottom, and we're at the top. Okay, now one thing I wanted to mention, because of the translocators, there's a specific, you have to be pretty much specifically right below the piston that's you're wanting to pick you up. If you're off the side a little bit, it could throw you off. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. See, like right there. Okay, I got stuck on the second piston up there because I wasn't dead center. I may be hitting the floor up there or whatever, but if you're not dead center, you're going to have problems. So what I would recommend is just building a little elevator shaft, you know, whatever blocks you want, of course, all the way up. And what this is going to do is keep you centered on your elevator. Okay? So then all you have to do is walk all the way in, look straight down, you know, you're walking forward, and you just stop, and you're up. Super, super, super simple stuff. Cheap to build. It will cost you a trip to the nether to find some nether quartz for the observer blocks. But you don't need a lot of it, you know, depending on how high you want your elevator. But each observer block is only one piece of nether quartz, and then some stone and redstone. But yeah, so super simple to build, super cheap. Pistons are cheap, levers are cheap, and string is abundant. So that's really all you need, and you got a really cool, you know, 1 wide, 3 deep elevator that you can go to the sky with. And super simple, easy, efficient design. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, drop a like or leave a comment in the comments section. And we'll hope to see you again soon.